According to Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, transcendental meditation opens the awareness to the infinite reservoir of creativity, intelligence and energy that resides deep inside all of us. Joan Aronowitz has been involved with TM and Ayurveda for the last 32 years, so we spent some time with her to explore the benefits of both.
Ayurveda is understanding the main intelligences that run the whole of creation and run our bodies. And those are brought into balance through Ayurvedic medicine to bring us back to bliss, to come to fullness, totality, full value of life. People can use their food that they eat every day as a very powerful medicine. Food works the same as herbs and spices do. It just takes longer to digest, and you have to have larger quantities of it. But one can turn disease around by just changing the diet. Everybody's different. One man's meat is another man's poison. So the challenge in Ayurveda is to find out what one's own physiological type is and what one can eat in order to have balance and again come back to bliss. In Ayurveda we recommend eating fruit, vegetables and grains, and under the category of vegetables we could include beans and lentils. Those are the main food groups. Different foods would affect different physiological types. So within the group of fruit, there would be fruits that are good for one person and not good for another person. There would be vegetables that are good for one person, not good for another person. One of the guiding principles of Ayurveda is that we can digest the food we eat. If we can digest it, it's good for us. That brings us on to the food. What can we digest? We can normally digest food which is freshly cooked and food which is natural. The more one explores Ayurveda, the more natural one becomes and the more purist one becomes. The cooking course is an interesting phenomenon that has evolved because as I learn more about it, and it is an evolutionary knowledge, I try to jam-pack more and more of it into the course. So the course has become a 1.5-day course. We look at the theory of Ayurvedic nutrition and then we apply it. And every course participant makes 2-3 dishes and we have a banquet. We use a wide range of natural, fresh, vegetarian, exotic ingredients so that people are able to leave the course with a shopping list, lots of choices and lots of ways to be very, very creative in becoming healthier. There are 20 different healing modalities in Maharishi Ayurveda, and transcendental meditation is one of the healing modalities. It's the most important, it's the most holistic, it's the most all-encompassing of all the healing modalities. We experience 3 states of consciousness: waking, sleeping and dreaming. Each of those has a corresponding state of physiology that can be measured. And transcendental meditation is a technique which allows us to experience a 4th state of consciousness, restful alertness or transcendental consciousness, which is also measurable and is as automatically, as easily, as naturally experienced as any of the other 3 states of consciousness. Transcendental meditation is very natural and it comes from ancient knowledge. It's been around from the beginning of time, and we go through periods of revival of the knowledge and loss of the knowledge. In this generation, we acknowledge that the knowledge was brought to us by Guru Dev. As a young person, I was exposed to extreme misery and very, very traumatized people. And I was very curious to know what was out there in the environment that could help people. And I became curious about the concept of meditation. I decided to do research into it. And then a friend of mine started TM, recommended it. And I waited in a queue for 3 weeks, and then I learned. The benefits for individuals fall into 4 main categories. One is mental potential. There are 600 research studies that have been done that show improvements and show exactly what happens in transcendental meditation. And the individual very, very quickly, within days, experiences more mental alertness. Over time, improved memory, concentration, problem-solving ability. The other aspect for the individual that I find totally enthralling is that one's abilities increase as one gets older. So it creates a newness and a vigor and a youthfulness in people. Health improves because we're resting the body very, very deeply, and the body responds to that, and it gets better. The immune system is strengthened. That's what the research tells us. So we get sick less often. If we get sick, we get better quicker. In terms of social relationships, the person usually within a few days reports being more assertive, being more compassionate, being more tolerant, enjoying people. The fourth benefit is the environment, is world peace. Meditators find that the environment improves spontaneously. And what we found in 1975, when Maharishi inaugurated the Age of Enlightenment, was in 11 American cities, 1% of the people had learned transcendental meditation, and the crime rate had dropped, hospital admissions had dropped, and accidents had dropped. So generally, we have that critical mass of 1% that creates a phased transition into a more positive environment. Maharishi described TM as the pathless path. He said that we become what we already were in the first place, that we're going nowhere but to where we are, to what we are. So we're realizing what we are. It's very simple, very practical. It's really realizing who we are. And that's where the freedom comes in, and one feels freer and freer. It comes in levels and waves. So what we experience in our meditation becomes realized, becomes real outside of meditation, when we become more intelligent, more healthy, get on better with people, more effective, when we see our environment improve. It's a very practical knowledge.